You finally left him, the texts have stopped, the house is quiet, and yet somehow you don't feel at peace. Something is not right. You can't sleep. You keep checking your phone. Maybe you keep going and checking the door. Something just feels off, and now you're asking yourself and you're wondering, did I make a big mistake? Because the truth is, when you leave a narcissistic and abusive relationship, being on your own feels almost overwhelming, because at least when you were with him, you knew what to expect. You were waiting for the pattern. That amygdala hijack that you had going on in your brain was always on alert. You were always looking out for something. You were always planning for something. You were always trying to strategize your day around the chaos. And now that you have some quiet, now that you have some peace, you don't really know what to do with it. Here's the truth. You are not going crazy. What's happening right now is that you're going through a sense of withdrawal. It really is a type of withdrawal from that chaos, from that relationship, from that toxicity. This pattern that your life revolved around was created that way by this abuser to hijack your nervous system and to have you living a certain pattern where you had to work around them, where you had to ensure your safety around what their needs were. You had to make sure that you were tiptoeing around them so that they didn't explode. And now that you don't have to do that, it almost feels unnatural. It's like you have to retrain yourself not to be in that kind of pain, not to be in that kind of traumatic situation. This is emotional detox. You are in this absolutely toxic relationship, and now you need to take time for yourself. Give yourself permission to take as much time as you need in order to start to heal and detoxify from all of that toxicity. Because the reality is, it wasn't just the situation. It wasn't just walking on eggshells because he was sitting in that living room or it was in that situation in the car. No, it's deeper than that. It's actually inside of you. It's in your body. It's in your soul. It's in your bones. You can feel it in every fiber of your being. So it's going to take some time for you to pull back, start to recognize how it is that you can heal going forward and how you can leave that part behind you. So instead of feeling numb, stick with me throughout this episode and let's talk about ways that you can start to reconnect with yourself and start to feel again and trust yourself again. This is part 1 in our series, Rebuilding After the Narcissist. And in this episode, I'm going to walk you through what it looks like in order to start rebuilding your life one step at a time after leaving that abusive relationship. Let's walk through that emotional detox, what it really is, what it looks like, and how you can start on that road to healing. And so many women tell me, I finally left, but somehow I feel worse. And that makes me so sad. It makes me feel like there's a pit in my stomach and all I want to do is go out and give them a big hug, which sometimes I do. But that feeling is real. And it's there because breaking up with the narcissist is not like breaking up with a regular person. It's like detoxing from a drug. Just like I was saying before, it's like you have to pull yourself back from the chaos the same way you do when you have to pull yourself back when you're going through detox. Narcissistic relationships are built on these patterns of what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. So what that basically means is there are moments of love and attention and validation, and your partner is bombarding you with all of this love and affection, and then that's mixed with emotional punishment or silence or rage, their anger. So you get this mix of this wonderful, loving person with this rageful monster, and you never actually know who you're getting. So you get these intermittent patterns of sometimes they are the best, and a lot of times they'd love to do this in public. So when you're out at an event and people see them, they think, oh my goodness, look at how much he loves her. Look at how wonderful he is, how he dotes on her. And then you get home and you know that that cycle is going to change. But then it changes back. And then those love bombings or those moments of affection, they kind of creep back in. And all your brain is doing is looking for those moments, trying to avoid the hurtful and harmful times, that monster, that anger. You want to avoid that, and your brain continues to look for those reinforcements, the times when he's good to you, the times when he shows affection, when he shows love. So if you've been doing that for your relationship, the entire length of your relationship, or at least a big part of it, when you leave, your brain is still looking for it. Your brain is not only just looking to avoid the chaos, because now maybe you're out of that chaotic situation. You have your own apartment. You're living somewhere else. You have a roommate. whatever it is, you know that there's peace. So you don't have that physical or emotional chaos, but your brain now is continuing to look for that love, for that reinforcement, the way it did when you were in the relationship. That's how your brain learned to survive, and it's still in survival mode. So when you leave, your body is almost still craving that chaos because that's what it knows, even though your brain knows it's no good for you, and what you need is that love of yourself, not from somebody else, but your body is still reacting in the way that it did yesterday or a month ago or even a year ago. This is not linear. You're not going to leave today and then tomorrow you feel a little better and then every day it's a little bit better. This is a roller coaster, an absolute roller coaster. You are going to have your ups, you are going to have your downs, your body is going to betray you sometimes, your brain will betray you sometimes. That is part of being human. That is the human experience. You have to feel this and you have to go through it. You are grieving a serious loss here. And just like any grief, if you lose a child, if you lose a family member, even if you lose a pet, these are all real feelings and you have to go through it. So remember, your body may still crave that chaos because your body has started to equate that with connection. But we're going to talk about that because it's not the love that you're missing. It's that chemical addiction to the cycle of abuse. And this is why going no contact feels so hard. But here is the beauty. Every hour, every day, every moment that you stay away from them, your body is reclaiming your own peace. You're starting to find yourself. You're starting to detox from that narcissistic relationship. This is the hardest part, the silence after the chaos. You're so used to that chaos. You're so used to the noise. You're so used to there being anger and yelling and fighting and fireworks. And now everything's quiet and there's peace. And all these thoughts that are going on in your head are only yours. You don't have to navigate around somebody else. So your brain almost doesn't really know what to do. You might even find yourself on your phone, on social media, checking maybe their social media statuses, maybe hoping that they might reach out, even through another friend, or just hoping for some kind of closure to kind of make it make sense, to give you that closure that your heart and your head desperately seek. But remember, narcissists do not create closure. All they do is create chaos. So the closure that you're looking for, that ending that you're looking for, that why, that give me a reason, just give me something so that I can feel whole again, so I can move on, the narcissist is never going to give that to you. I'm just going to be honest with you. Even if they have the ability to, which sometimes I wonder if they even do, they will never do it. The confusion and the chaos is what kept you trapped, is what kept them hooking you back in. So trust me, if you think that they're going to give you any kind of closure, the only thing they're doing is trying to manipulate the situation so they can pull you back in, so they can confuse you more, so they can gaslight you and make it seem like this was you. This is all about you. Oh, I'm giving you closure because of what you did. You don't need that. So remember, you're never going to find peace in the same place that they broke you. You need to find your own peace and you need to move on. Every time you do not respond to a text that they send you or an email or maybe even a message that they've sent you through a friend or a colleague, every time you ignore it and you let it go, you are rewiring your brain. You're teaching yourself again to trust yourself, to know that you can let that go, because not only, just like I said before, are you only going to get chaos and confusion and blame, but at the end of the day, you are now making yourself stronger, making your brain physically stronger to say, I can control what comes in. I can control the information I'm taking in, which in turn is going to let me be in charge of how I believe. My entire belief system is going to be based around this. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm going to be honest with you. One step at a time, every single day, every single time that you say, I'm not going to answer that text, I'm not going to check the social media status of that friend of a friend, every time you make that conscious decision, even just once today, you're making your brain stronger. You're increasing your willpower. You are actually building that wall so you do not have to worry about looking at them again. So let's talk about some actionable ways that you can start to do that. Cutting them off every day and building that wall so that they can stay on that side and you can stay on this side where you're going to thrive. I know I talk about this all the time, but journaling. Keep a trigger journal. Make sure that you have something where you can write something down or you can put something in your phone, and every time you feel that urge to reach out, write it down. Write down what the urge is, when you're feeling it, what triggered it, and exactly what it is that you would say to them. You can write it down in there. Closure sometimes comes from being able to express yourself and say it and put it out there in the universe. They don't necessarily need to hear it. You know you're not actually going to get the response that you want anyway, so put it down in your journal. Whatever you want to say to them, no matter what, no matter how ugly it is, no matter how detailed it is, no matter how painful it is, put it down. That's step one of you reclaiming your identity, you reclaiming your freedom. Secondly, practice a grounding technique. Basically, this just means being present in the moment where you are. And it actually doesn't matter where you are. You can be in your living room. You don't have to go to a yoga studio for this. You can be in your kitchen. You can actually just be driving. You can be sitting on a subway. Wherever you are and you're feeling overwhelmed, practice this grounding technique. Name 5 things that you can see, look around, focus on them, focus really well, name them. 4 things that you can touch, maybe the steering wheel, maybe your bag, maybe your earrings, maybe your hair, no matter what. 3 things that you can hear, and very distinct things in the area that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. Is it the food? Is it the air? Is it your gum? Is it the smell of urine on the subway? New Yorkers, you know what I mean. And 1 thing that you can taste. These things help your brain, again, shift, refocus, and focus in on those things that you're thinking about, the things that you can hear, the things that you can see, the things that you can smell, that you can taste, that you can touch. When you do that, it's an interrupter. It stops your brain from focusing on all of the negative, on being overwhelmed with the feelings of grief or the feelings of what the heck is going on? How am I going to make it through this? When you can start to be very real and very intentional about doing those pattern interrupters, you're training your brain every single day to be stronger. And thirdly, always, constantly remind yourself, this is a detox. It's just like anything else that is addictive, that has you stuck, that has you pulled in. You have to start reminding yourself, I was addicted to this. This is not about blame. This is about understanding that your brain was somehow addicted to this. Your brain got very used to this way of living. So right now, you're going to start to untrain it. You're going to retrain it to live the way you want to live instead of being stuck. But just remind yourself that this discomfort, and it will be very uncomfortable for a while, this is part of the detox. This is not your destiny. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Right now, your only job is to keep yourself safe. It's not to create your entire new life. You need to take it one day at a time. Wake up this morning, make your morning safe. Make that sacred. Make it your own. You have been living in survival mode for so long, so it's not going to feel natural at first. Take it slow. Take it one morning at a time. Maybe you can't even take it one day at a time. You're going to take it an hour at a time. Start to make your body feel comfortable in that peace, one little step at a time. And now this is different for everyone. Some people are morning people. Some people are night people. But I really think that every single morning, even if you're not a morning person and you decide that you're going to wake up at 10 in the morning, that's okay. Make your entire day the best it can be by setting out your morning with intention. Now let's talk about how we're going to do that. You're going to create your morning anchor every single day by getting up at the same time. Like I said, even if you're not a morning person and your normal time is to wake up at 9 or 10 a.m., okay, wake up at 9 or 10 a.m. But don't wake up at 6 a.m. every day and then on the weekends wake up at 10 a.m. If you want to sleep in, maybe give yourself a half an hour or an hour. But you really should be getting your body used to a rhythm, getting used to waking up at about the same time every day. Set your alarm, go to bed at the same time, and make sure that you're getting your body used to being consistent. Your body needs consistency. Next, don't go grabbing your phone. At least for the next 10, 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour, ideally, don't grab your phone. Sometimes I have to check it in the morning to see what time it is because I don't really have a lot of clocks around. But if you need to know what time it is, look at the time and put it down. Don't look at notifications. Don't go on social media. Certainly do not check your texts. If there's an emergency, I promise you, it can wait 15 minutes. And then do something that's good for you every single morning. Maybe you journal for a few minutes. Maybe you do some stretching. Maybe you have some tea. Maybe you go for a walk. Do something for you. That is not about caring for your animals. That is not about brushing your teeth. You have to do that anyway. No, something separate from that. Something that fills your soul, that fills your body. Now let's talk about detoxing your environment. It's really important that you start removing reminders of your ex. If you stayed in the house where the two of you were a couple. It's going to be triggering. There are going to be rooms that you walk into that remind you of him. There are going to be areas of the house where, oh my gosh, I remember that horrible incident that happened here. It's going to be triggered even more if his things are in the house. So make sure that anything that is there that reminds you of him, I don't care if it's a couch, get rid of it. I'm saying this from a place of privilege and a place of understanding that not everyone can do that. If you don't have the money for it, I fully understand it. Maybe try to get some couch covers. Try to get some sheets or blankets to cover it to give it a different feel, a different smell, a different look. You want to be reminded of this person as little as possible. But if you have any trinkets, any gifts that he gave you, if you have texts in your phone, get rid of it. You don't need any of that. Now, I will say, if there are any texts that you need as evidence for down the road, if there's ever a time that you need an order of protection or you need to ensure that you have evidence, you can always save that in a cloud system. You can always back it up. But in your phone, in your device that you look at, you should be blocking them. You should have absolutely no contact with them, and you should not be able to see old texts. If you need it, save it somewhere. But in your everyday life, remove as much as possible as you can so that you can start to heal without being reminded of that toxic relationship. And then you can start to replace them with something that you do want, something that is meaningful to you. Instead of sitting on the couch and watching that same TV show that he insisted that you watch, maybe you at night now play music, your favorite album. You start to dance around. You start to take classes. You watch the TV shows that you want to watch. Whatever it is, create your own routine, your own triggers, your own memories that are not going to bring you back there. Because you know how it is. Sometimes you hear a song and it brings you back to that moment. Or you see a TV show and you think, oh my gosh, I used to watch that with him. So there are things that will trigger you, absolutely. But start to create your own memories and your own feelings. Your own rituals are going to be so important. And lastly, connect with safe people. This is huge. This is so big because you want to be able to reach out to a friend, to call someone and say, I am really feeling it. I'm going through it right now and I need help. I need somebody to talk to. Can I cry on your shoulder? Can I complain about something? Can I vent about something? Can you help me move this couch? You need to be able to have a support system who is there for you, whether it's one friend, a support group, an entire group of maybe your old high school friends, someone who you can turn to and say, I just need to be real for a bit. And let's face it, that's going to be women. Women always support other women. Find trusted women in your community, in your family, in your inner circle, and pull them in. Pull them closer to you than ever. Cherish them, value them, and make sure when they need your support, you're there for them as well. This is a terrible time that you're going through, that you're going to need a lot of healing from, but the strength can come when you can bond with another woman who maybe is going through something similar or who has experienced something similar in the past. There is nothing better than women supporting other women because this connection that you're creating is going to heal so much of that isolation that you felt in the relationship. And if you're a mom, I know that this adds another layer of exhaustion and confusion and honestly more work for you. And that's the reality because you're going to have to be your best self so that you can be there for your children. And this is not going to be easy because you're not just healing for you, and you are healing for you, but you're not just doing that. You're actually helping yourself to help your children to break that cycle so that not only can they now start to recognize it from their father, but they can also recognize these patterns in future relationships. When they meet an intimate partner, when they actually even form close bonds with friends, they can start to notice, recognize, and shy away from those relationships that are going to be toxic for them. And make no mistake, you cannot heal through your children, right? I hear a lot of times people say, oh, I made this through because I had my children to rely on. No, your children are not there for you to rely on. Your children rely on you. What you want to do is be strong for them. You want to heal yourself with therapy, with a coach, with a support system, something outside of this, and make sure that you're doing the work in order to detox from this relationship and then be there for your children. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be times when your solace and your peace at the end of the day will be spending time with your kids and hugging your kids. Of course, those are your loved ones. You love them more than anything in the world, but they are not going to heal you. That is not their job, and I highly, highly encourage you to get yourself into therapy and certainly get your children into therapy. Because now you can model calm, appropriate behavior for your children, even if they're not going to see it in the co-parent's house. You're never going to be perfect. Children don't need perfection. What they need is a mother who is there for them, who is going to model her best calmness, who is going to model her best healing. So the children know they can be calm. They can work toward healing. They don't have to worry about the trauma that you're going through. They see you in a calm way. So now they can go about being kids, exploring, learning, growing, being themselves. And if you are co-parenting, there are times when you're going to have to communicate with this person. You want to keep all of your communications very tight, very succinct. I want you to focus on the BIFF method, BIFF, be brief, right to the point, brief. Informative, I'm going to tell you about the facts that I need to tell you. The kids have soccer practice at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Short and to the point, brief, informative, friendly. You never want to be mean. You don't have to be overly friendly, but you never want to be mean. You never want to be yelling. You never want to be accusatory, because God forbid if us women even showed any emotion, then we're the crazy ones. And you want it to be firm. Firm. You're not asking for permission. You're not saying, oh, okay, can you get them at 2 o'clock on Saturday from soccer practice? No. 2 o'clock, Saturday, soccer practice ends, pick the kids up. Firm, right? Again, BIFF, BIFF. Try to stick to that as much as you can if you have to co-parent. And don't forget, you cannot control the narcissist. What you can control is your home environment and the house that the children come home to when they are with you. But even if you don't have children, or if you have children who are older and you don't have to co-parent, now is your time to reclaim your peace. Now is your time to start thinking about the future that you want for yourself. Do not be afraid to be selfish. I am so tired of hearing women saying, I know, but I have to care for my mother. I know, but I have to do this other thing. I have to take care of other people. I have to do something else. You don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. Whatever it is that you want to do, if it's fulfilling to you, if it's something that's meaningful, if you're volunteering, if spending time with your mother is something that you really enjoy, absolutely. And are there times when we do have to do things? Yes, we are required to do things. You have to go to work. You have to show up to work to make money, to keep a roof over your head. However, what I'm talking about here is that feeling of overwhelm that we are responsible for everyone else. And when you're coming out of an abusive relationship with a narcissist, it doesn't feel natural to say, no, I want to take care of myself. No, I want to think about myself first. Your first instinct is, I have to make sure the situation, the environment is okay, that everything is taken care of. And if it's not, it's my responsibility to take care of it. That's not the case. Your responsibility now has to shift to yourself. You get to reinvent yourself without any apologies. Travel, create art, go out with your friends, take a yoga class, things that maybe you've wanted to do and you haven't done because number one, you've been in this relationship. And number two, you haven't actually been in touch with who you are. Start to find that person now. Go take that yoga class. And you hate it? Don't go again. You love it? Keep going. You can only know who you are until you start dipping your toe in the water. So you have to start taking that risk, taking your toe, dipping it in the waters, and trying something new. I know you can do it. You can find yourself. Healing from narcissistic abuse isn't just about recovery. It's about rebirth. And right now, I know that it probably feels like you're unraveling. But what's really happening is this. The version of you that learned to survive in that chaos is starting to heal. It's almost like that old version of you is dying and this new person is being reborn. And I know how corny that sounds sometimes, but it really is like a rebirth. When you are finding yourself again, you are living again, you are finding your own peace and your own voice, you are being reborn. And to help you through this exact stage, I've created a free printable to help you called the Emotional Detox Plan. It's going to be linked below. It's going to be on our website. And the idea of this is that you take it, you read through it at your leisure on this journey of healing, and it's going to help you track triggers and set your small goals, maybe even your big goals. We should all have big goals. And it's going to help you find your calm in the middle of the storm. Again, it's linked below. It's on our website. It is completely free. It is made for you whether you have children or not, but it is made for you. Again, you need to be whole even if you have children who depend on you. This is about you reclaiming yourself as a woman, and then you're a mother. Because rebuilding after narcissistic abusive relationships is so hard. So you need to be a little bit selfish here and take care of yourself so you can be the best version of yourself for your children. In part 2 of our series, we're going to take a deeper dive into something even more powerful, rediscovering who you are without him. So make sure to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and share this information. Share our channel with anyone else who is going through this. There are so many women who are suffering in silence in narcissistic abusive relationships, and we want to put an end to that. We want to form a community where we all support each other, and every woman who is going through this finds her own path forward. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next time on The Divorce Den.